Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Tubaplyr, NegativeAE, and welcome to another episode on the channel. And today, while I'm waiting for the freaking Vagante patch 45 to come out, Jesus, freaking, they were like, it's delayed until today, and then I checked today, and it's still not up, so I know game development takes time, so I'm just waiting, quote-unquote, peacefully for that. But as I wait, there's this game that I asked for a while back when the game released. It's called Gain. I asked for it like a day or two before the release date. They gave it to me on the release date. And they said, be careful, the game is hard. It's a game that brags permadeath, stealth gameplay, and gunplay, which sounds awesome. It sounds like something that I would definitely be on to. Permadeath, everything that I like. So I jumped into the game with high expectations and an open mind because they did say that it was their first game, and they want as much feedback as possible and as many YouTubers and streamers to play it as possible, obviously, to get their game out there. So I'm gonna try to be as constructive as possible because it's their first game, and it's not going for very much. It's only going for $5. So I mean, with that being said, let's look at the game critically. So first of all, a couple things that I like about the game is I really like that there's a guy that says stuff every time you die. So when you die, it's not as frustrating because you do have to start back all the way from the beginning. And it is very, very hard. So when you die and you have that guy say something funny to you, it's a little bit of a reassuring, okay, well, that's pretty funny. Let's continue on. And you also think he's an ass, so you're just like, oh, well, okay, when you stop being an ass. So, I mean, that's a cool addition to the game, makes it less frustrating. And I like the concept where you go out, you have to get a file and sneak past guards and stuff like that. So here's a couple things that I have a problem with. The game looks very like stockish. Like it looks like someone took like stock models of a guard and stock like walls, and didn't really put that much effort into either making the wall or making the models. So I think it loses a little bit of heart there. Because it doesn't look like it's a complete game. But I mean, graphics and assets alone do not make a game. It's really the core gameplay. So if we look at the core gameplay, there's a little bit wrong with that too. So the guards move in lines. They don't deviate from their lines. They move back and forth through lines, and they don't react to anything. So if a dead body's in their path, they're not going to react to that. They're going to react to them getting shot pretty much only, or them seeing you. And you can see through walls, which is cool. If you right away they teach you that you can press the G button and you can see through walls, and it's a good time. You wouldn't be able to complete the game without that ability. And then later you get the ability to slow down time. I'm sure there's various other things that they threw in to make the game a little bit interesting. So the problem is, you're not going to go through the level once and get it the first time. It's not going to happen. It's because you have to know all their patterns and stuff, and unless you sit there for a good hour memorizing what everybody's doing and like, all right, this is the best path, you'd be better off just taking out people along the path that you think is the fastest way to get to the thing, and then get out of there, because you have to get to the file before you can leave the level. And you have 6 shots to do so, and a knife. And the knife that you get, you can't retrieve it, which I think would be a really cool aspect to the game if they wanted to update the game, or maybe make another one where you could, like, after you throw the knife and it insta-kills that person, you can then take the knife back out, but taking the knife back out is very dangerous because there's guards like patrolling, and they would see you, and if they see you take out the knife, it's a decently long animation to take out the knife, and they see you, then you die. So that would be a cool thing, just to be able to retrieve that, because sometimes you run out of ammo just trying to get that headshot, because the headshot boxes are a little bit smaller than I'd like. But yeah, I mean, great concept. It's not executed well. It's not executed. If you could, I would argue that you could spend more time on the game just making the walls look like not so neat. Because I think the walls look a little bit neat, and they look like they're cut off at a certain point. Like, I know I'm playing a game right now. Like, even like a game like Monaco or Vagante, it doesn't really feel like I know I'm playing a game, but the things are so. The levels are generated. Monaco is set levels, so let's compare set levels to set levels, not randomly generated, because randomly generated is. It's easy to make your world look like it's something new because it is something new. It's been randomly generated. So if you look at Monaco's levels are crazy. I'll probably put a video up of Monaco. I'm gonna put more work on myself. But if you look at the Monaco level design layout, it looks like, oh wow, this is an actual building. This is a house. This is a thing. When you go through the levels in game, it feels like a labyrinth more than like, oh, they're guarding this in their base that they go to every time. It looks like they're dungeon keepers and they decided to like go into a cave and mine out perfect wall sections. I don't know. It just feels a bit weird. And the guards move in straight lines. I feel like they should move in circles sometimes, or maybe triangles, or maybe like two guards have a conversation. I mean, you have that one voice actor guy. Maybe you could have him do different voices for two guards, just having a conversation. Because that just, even in the Hitman series, that adds something to do. Like, oh, I want to listen to this person's conversation. Maybe it'll tell me more about the story. And that's another thing that I wanted to touch on is give your game more story. This game could have. I've seen so many crappy games get by because they've had a good story. I don't want to cause any controversy here, but freaking Five Nights at Freddy's, the first couple, they look like they have no work put into them. They look like someone like. No offense to Scott. I'm sure he puts time into his games and stuff, but I think his name is Scott. I don't know what his name is. But. No offense to him. I mean, obviously everybody likes his game. It's not my style, but his game gets by because he has just enough vague story there to kind of intrigue people. Kind of like, oh wow, I kind of want to keep playing just because there's this story that's not resolved, and then at the end it's still not resolved. So the story here is oh, get the file and get out. Why am I getting the file? Why am I getting out? Why are all these people guarding this file? And why is there so many people guarding? There's a ton of guards guarding this single file that's in the air floating. But I don't know why can't I slow down time? What's the story? And I don't even want you to give me like a huge drawn out story. I want just a little tiny bit of a story. So even though I have to restart, it's less of a problem because I have this story to go off of. And that's something that it's a toss up. You could do it in the next game or update this one. Another thing I would add just to make the game a little bit more enjoyable. I think if you add any of these things, it'll make the game a little bit more enjoyable just to like keep going through over and over again, because I think that's the problem is you have a plain game here, which is, I mean, it's a good concept if there was a little bit more here, like if maybe the levels were interesting to look at, or the guards didn't all look the same and they look different. You could like, oh, look at this guard, he looks so cool, or this guard looks different, or maybe or maybe there's a little bit of story there, so I want to keep continuing because there's a story that I just don't understand, but it's tripping me out so much that I have to get to the third level to see what happens to Joe in the next area. So those are a couple things. And then one more thing I would say is you can slow down time and you can see through walls, but it goes away. Like the G button, like when you hold down the G button, it goes away and I'll still be holding down the G button, or if I press the time stop button, it'll go away and I'll still be holding down the time stop button, and then I can't pause time again, or I can't see through walls again for a little bit. So something I would add is maybe like a bar next to like a health bar, so maybe you don't die in one hit, because sometimes you mess up and you can't hit that headshot box. and it'd be way less frustrating if you die in 2 hits instead of 1. But no, if you had bars, I don't even care. Like, if you want to keep it at 1 hit, you go ahead. But I at least bars to show how long I can slow down time, how long I can see through walls, how long I can do anything else in the game. Other than that, I want to say it's a good attempt. It's a good attempt. I don't know if it's worth $5. I've played better games that are free. Like, if you check out Crows, Doctor and the Lynx, whatever the frick it is, the Whirlwind Emerald Heist, by Crows, William Pugh, the person that made Stanley Parable, he put out a free game, or not made, he co-wrote the Stanley Parable, I think, and he made that game, and I was blown away, and it's free, and it's the levels look like they've been put time into it, and so although I get what you're trying to do here, Gain, I think that just a little bit more work into the game would make it that much better of a game. So I'll be watching this game closely. I'll be looking for updates and stuff like that. And if it gets to the point where a lot of these things are fixed, or not fixed, but like a lot of these things are added, I think it'll make such a better game, and I'll have such a better time recommending this game to everybody. But for right now, I think it's a wait. I think it's a wait until the game either gets a little bit better, or maybe the studio releases another game that's a little bit better. But I'll be watching you guys. So thank you guys for sending me your game. I appreciate the amount of work that you've already put into it. I just think that it needs a little bit more. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good rest of your day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you hit that like button, and peace out, guys.